could be called?
Well, I think it's coming very soon. I still think it's probably November, although we're advised and the chatter is that it could be sooner. But whenever it comes, I think you can feel from the mood of the Ard Fheis we're ready, and we're going out to set out the real opportunity now for people here in the South for change. We've had 14 years of Fine Gael government. We have a housing crisis. We've childcare costs still through the roof, a cost of living crisis that people are struggling through. And Sinn Féin now has a really solid policy platform. We have plans. And we want to get the chance to deliver them. And of course, we're also the party of Irish reunification. You've heard some very strong contributions from the Ard Fheis on that. So look, we're ready for it, and like really motivated to get out. So whenever An Taoiseach goes to the park and calls the election, we're ready for the campaign. And I have a sense, I think the general public is ready now for an election too. That's my sense of things.
What are some of the issues that this election will be fought on? Obviously, as you say, we have a housing crisis, healthcare as well, I'm sure will be in there. But immigration, just, was it last week or the week before, people again took to the streets of Dublin. Do you think there are concerns to be addressed there?
Well, look, of course there are. Just to be clear, this is and remains still a very friendly, very welcoming country, and people are decent, and people, when others are in trouble, Irish people dig deep to help out. Truth is that, in our society where services have been stretched, where the housing crisis that we've talked about is very, very real, and where government did not manage well new people coming to the country. They had no plan. They had practically no communication with lots and lots of communities. Has that caused division and tension? Yes, it has. In my own view, I think a lot of that could have been avoided. We launched our own plan on this matter on international protection during the summer, and for us, at the heart of all of this is community, at the heart of it is fairness and efficiency, resourcing the system properly. And if you get those three things right, you won't go far wrong on this issue. But is it an issue that people are talking about? Yes, it is. And it's something that we have to not be afraid to talk about. We have to have the conversation across society, whilst always saying very firmly that racism is repulsive and it will be faced down. But, ordinary people, particularly in communities that are under pressure, don't like the fact that government put more pressure on them without any recognition of the need for more services and more resources.
The unionists who simply can't ever imagine a future with United Ireland, Sinn Féin are going to have to persuade those people. How will they go about doing that?
Yeah, well, look, I know that unionists will set out a unionist position. I think they need to do that, actually. I don't think they should just take it for granted that the union is the default position. There are choices here, there are options now, and Irish reunification for us represents a massive opportunity. It's not a Sinn Féin thing, it's not just simply a Republican issue. This is for everybody who lives on this island, economically, socially. The case is, in my opinion, unanswerable for constitutional change. And what we want to do is to have that conversation, that democratic conversation that makes space for everybody, where you listen to everybody, where you consider every point of view and every possibility. For that to happen, the government in Dublin has to move beyond rhetoric to actually making this an objective, and not just that, but an action point for government. And London too. I was in Liverpool at the British Labour Party conference, as you probably know, and I was making the point there, it's not a credible or sustainable position for Keir Starmer to say, well, put it on the never, never. Referendums are provided for in the Good Friday Agreement. It's now 26 years old. There's a whole generation of people have been born who have known nothing other than this political dispensation. So the referendums are going to happen. The challenge politically for leaders, whether you're a unionist or a Republican, whether you're in the north or the south, is preparation for those referendums, because we want orderly, democratic and entirely peaceful transition from partition to reunification. I think it's a really exciting time. And I know there are those who say, no, it's not for me and I can't imagine that ever happening. I would just ask them, just open your mind, just listen, just give it a fair listen. And I know there are others, and we heard from one eminent person from the Protestant and Unionist community who is now an absolutely confirmed and convinced United Irelander. So the conversation is happening. We can learn from each other and move it ahead.
How close is this United Ireland?
Closer than ever. I mean, I have, and we have called this the decade of opportunity. I think people north and south have to have their democratic opportunity in this decade. I think that can happen. We're going to work very, very hard to make it happen. And therefore, all of the engagement that we do now is so very, very important. We will live in a united Ireland. You certainly are going to live a long time because you're only a young man. And I really am so concerned that when we talk about this subject, that it's not in language of loss or threat. This is about opportunity and additionality. Had a tough year of it. I think every family at some point faces, the kind of challenges that we did. We've come through them. And I feel just very blessed, very lucky to have such great friends, great colleagues, and a great family around me. So it was a hard year, but we're through it now, and I'm in great form and looking forward to the future. So the kindness of people, is just immense, and I'm of course very, very grateful for that too.